Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm coming on so late. It's so late. Can't be helped. We're getting a lot of breaking news. Let's see if I'm on. Let's see if everything is working. And I wanted to play some music, but there's just time is limited and I'd rather get leads. And I have some really important breaking news. We have confirmation that the El Paso Independent School District's police department and including Manny Manuel Chavira are under investigation. We have that confirmed. That is huge breaking news. Of course, we see what's going on this day, 1,800. And let me make sure I got the right number because it's just been so crazy. There we go. 1,858 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room, and his life was ended for whistleblowing about the criminal trafficking, right, along the El Paso border into Fort Bliss. And it's even worse than that because his unit, we have confirmation that that is absolutely connected to the Walmart mass shooting, and that everything, all of the evidence we have, has now confirmed that he was a whistleblower for the Walmart mass shooting case. That's why they're so intertwined, and that's why they had to silence him, because this was a huge cartel, narco politician, and even a mutiny, even within our own military, against President Trump's administration. Um, Also, to form a false narrative to target him politically during the 2020 presidential campaign. Remember, the man that they wanted to put in there was Beto O'Rourke, coming out of El Paso. And this was absolutely a political bloody um, uh, crime, mass shooting, that they used to uh, put forth a false narrative, to call President Trump every name in the book, to lay blame on him for the mass shooting, to tamper with, to interfere in the election for President of the United States. It's very clear. And Richard was his whistleblower. Richard was President Trump's. He saw what they were doing to him, you know, and he saw it. He saw the irregularities in the Walmart mass shooting. I mean, with all of the videos that are out there now, with all of the evidence that's out there now, who shot Ernest Christopher Grant? Because it wasn't Patrick Crusius. Who shot Alexander Gerhard Hoffman Roth? Because it wasn't Patrick Crusius. Who shot Maria Eugenia Lagarette Roth? Because it wasn't Patrick Crusius. Who shot the Anchondo couple? Because it wasn't Patrick Crusius. Who shot Memo Garcia? Because it wasn't Patrick Crusius. And that means the other two that were there, that were injured, they probably have a story to tell. They really do. Um, and so, all of this evidence that's coming out um, um, shows that the Walmart mass shooting was absolutely orchestrated, that Ernest Christopher Grant was part of this. He absolutely, the media was part of this, used him as a uh, total uh, media sweetheart to spread the most vile, vulgar, false narratives, and get people to blame President Trump unjustly, in a very blue area, right? In a very blue area. in the front door, at the front door of the United States, and a very military area, to uh, tamper and interfere with the election of 2020. Very clear. And Richard wouldn't stand for it. Richard wouldn't stand for it at all. He's like, what the hell is happening here? You can't do this kind of crime, right? You can't do this kind of crime. And he is absolutely a national hero. He paid the ultimate price for calling it out. So let's go to, and I want to say also, so we have the confirmation that investigation is going on in the El Paso ISD police office. That's huge news. Of course, his nephew, Alex Chavira, who is the owner of A&R Chavira Auto Group, that's all, let me tell you, that's all unraveling, um, uh, uh, showing the cartel trafficking there and them with um, Bob Moore of El Paso Matters targeting Richard while he was a whistleblower to try to set him up with their group, which include the canine cop Jesus Melendez and Miguel Carzoli, El Paso police officer Miguel Carzoli, up to no good, to uh, really set Richard up so that they could discredit him as a whistleblower. And that was with Bob Moore of El Paso Matters. Bob Moore of El Paso Matters has been involved in this very early on, and he knows Richard, and he was targeting Richard, um, and his wife also, in all of this. And that's why you see the way they covered it in the news, because they weren't innocent bystanders. They were absolutely part of the crime. They were participating in the crime. And Alex Chavira also, and of course, being the nephew of Manny Chavira, and they're all connected to the cartel. Willie Moya, if you live in El Paso, you absolutely know how big Willie Moya was, and Arturo Alba, part of the media, and they lost their lives like Maria Eugenia Lagaret Roth and Alexander Gerhard Hofmann Roth, because they were, it's a headshot, professional headshot. And so, you're like, okay, well, who shot them? Because it wasn't Patrick Crucius, right? He was not even trained. He was not a professional. He he even confessed to just one or two, but there's 26 that need to be answered for, not just one or two. And we know that the whole narrative is just unraveling. And a big part of that unraveling is from convicted criminal and prime suspect in Richard's murder case, and that is Leilani Hart. Leilani Hart, uh, confessed to the worst type of crimes against children, and implicated her own family to the worst type of crimes against children and with one another, and all kinds of other criminal activities that I can't really talk about on this because it's so bad. It's just so bad. And we have that affidavit because she got it, because she has an inside man. She had an inside man, and then she, flaunted it, um, and that's how we got it. That's how we got it and confirmed it. And um, even with James Courtney Hart confirmed it, and even Marlon Soto, you know, and Marlon Soto, the CID, oh my gosh, he needs to be put into jail. He needs to be put into jail so bad. And the death penalty needs to be assigned to these people because what they did is not just one crime. There's so many crimes that they committed to do this, to orchestrate it, to be engaged in it, to cover it up and everything. And it's really coming out all of this common denominator that, these people are disabled veterans. And, really, really a fraudulent fraud. Is that a fraud? Um, that all needs to be investigated because even the canine cop, Jesus Melendez, is the brother of Raul Melendez, the son in law to David Johnson, who was killed on that day, the Walmart mass shooting, and also lived on the same street as Ernest Christopher Grant, up to no good, right? That just doesn't happen. And he now, we have confirmed, is also DV. He also gets DV benefits, like uh, well, our main concern with all these DV benefits, because Leilani Hart's 100%, over $5,000 a month, and then she gets all the car benefits for that, and then she gets exempt from paying property taxes. She doesn't care about high property taxes in El Paso. She's exempt from that. And it's you got many, many people that are DVs, and it's like, really, really, and really does help to know that her husband was in the Veterans Administration over the Veterans Disability Benefits, IDES pay blow. He had power to give that. And of course, their son, Dallas Hart, was Richard's platoon leader and is a prime suspect, the prime suspect of the prime suspects in the murder of our son. So this leads to another DV, which is Danielle Amelia Nungaray, who was doing the frisky business with the um, district director, uh, top cop, Jose Sanchez, in the parking lot. And she has a fleet. I'm not joking. She has a fleet of vehicles. And we were talking about it today, and we've called her the cartel chauffeur. The cartel chauffeur. Many of these, I don't know if it's half, because information is still coming in, are DV license plates, right? And we're talking about Lamborghini. I mean, Lamborghini. I mean, purple mauve Lamborghini. They cost a lot, hundreds of thousands of dollars, y'all, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And you're talking about Mercedes and BMWs and Audi, and that is not what these license plates were meant for. But what they give, first, you have to be at least 50% disabled to get that kind of license plate. And of course, she's a veteran. I don't know if she's 50% disabled. That's whatever. Um, but you get those, and it really is to help out a disabled veteran. But this is clearly fraud because of how many of her cars in her fleet have DV license plates. And those plates um, give you parking access, okay? Parking access and also free meter. free parking meter. It also gives many other benefits. But, so if you're a cartel chauffeur, you want to have parking access, right? You want to have parking access. So, it's very clear that Jose Sanchez is not too good at his job if he's going to fall for a frisky business honey trap, okay? Because you just have to have a little pillow talk, little sweetness, uh, and more and more, and then all of a sudden, you could be spilling out about cases, ongoing cases like our son's case. Um, so this is a counterintelligence maneuver, right? The honey trap is counterintelligence maneuver. And, come on. Are you telling me that Jose Sanchez, the top cop in the Western District in Texas with the Department of Public Safety, doesn't know about counterintelligence maneuvers, that he doesn't know to vet whoever he's going to be doing frisky business with, and that when he's on duty, when he has his his badge on and he's using his taxpayer funded vehicle, he shouldn't be, going up someone's dress in the middle of a parking lot in front of everyone. Um, because the DPS now has lost its credibility, right? It loses its credibility and trust of the public when you pull things like that. And, uh, and to have her have that kind of fleet, and have her um, have that kind of fraud with her DVs is a very, very big deal. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go to our Facebook page and I posted it up. And please share that. Please share this information because, things are really starting to happen. You see that with President Trump. He just gave the cartel a very, very clear message by blowing up their uh, their stream, right? Their stream, their highway, this was a motorboat, and chain of supply, the supply chain. He is interrupting their supply chain clearly. And of course, Marco Rubio was in Mexico today, and, we are absolutely disgusted with what is happening with the Pan Party and Juarez with this playing hot potato with loved ones' bodies so that they could cash in one funeral home and then uh, transport the body to another funeral home and then another funeral home and cash in on unidentified migrants' humanitarian death benefits, right? Death benefits or, burial disposal benefits. And then if they have had COVID, that went up also, the payments. And so we're absolutely disgusted about what's happening there with the Plenitude Crematorium, with the owner having multiple houses and business in El Paso, hiding out in El Paso right now. One house is right beside Beto O'Rourke's. Yeah, so there needs to be a lot of investigation because very clearly we have laid out the evidence that confirms that they are corrupt, that they are compromised, that they're up to no good, that they are cartel connected, that they are connected to all the trafficking and all of the contract fraud and um, all of the extortion and everything that's been going on there in El Paso. And it's, I'm really happy to say that, this is a contained group. Um, and so that means that President Trump's administration knows exactly who they are. And that's why you see the El Paso ISD being investigated. So I know I have more breaking news because there's just been so much going on, and um, with with A&R Chavira Auto Group, the cars that they tried to pass to Richard, um, all of that information that absolutely confirms that they were doing business fraudulently, but of course that's already established. And our aim nonstop is to get Richard's remains, and those remains, we believe, at least partial remains, because of Richard being so valuable to them and all of the benefits and humanitarian aid and everything, that partial remains are at the Plenitude Crematorium. So, and I don't know if Cesar Hargreaves or the governor, who's totally, they're investigating themselves. That's what they're doing. They're investigating themselves, and so but God is in control of all of this. And Lalani Hart with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, with Danae Katzen, with Bob Moore, they're the peddlers of deception, and it was through their lies that we have found the truth. Um, very so they mean it for evil, but God means it for good, and God's bringing the truth to us, and really taking the cartel grip off of El Paso. I don't even know if El Pasoans uh, really understand the bright future that is coming, the golden age that's coming once those claws of the cartel power are pried off of them, and you know, and accountability is done. The future is so bright to get these criminals grip off of El Pasoans and off of Fort Bliss security. They've just breached security so bad. So I just want to say thank you so much, and I hope that's a hopeful message. We are hearing about Marco Rubio, and I think he's going to Ecuador, which is very interesting. Very interesting why he's going to Ecuador. So things are heating up for accountability. Oh, yes, another really good information coming in is President Trump has made military lawyers into immigration judges. And of course, Fort Bliss, that staging ground that they have now prepared for this mass deportation, because you have to, they were saying each person has to have a trial. Remember that whole thing? They each have to have a trial. So now he's making, it's a brilliant move. It really is brilliant, because he's making these lawyers into immigration judges. So, because of course, Veronica Escobar's husband has failed us, right? He's failed us in that. Um, so that's amazing news for tonight. And I will absolutely, I mean, it's jaw dropping, isn't it, when you see the meme of Danielle's car fleet? It's just very, very powerful, and it's just jaw dropping. Um, so thank you so much, and God bless you. And